Hello and welcome. This is FFTCG and today we're gonna talk about Opus 8. Yeah, it was a long time ago from my last video. It was last year in October, but I was sick and somebody happens with me. Um, I'm sorry for that, but yeah. Um, it's time to get move on and I had some depression, some sickness, but no problem. I get that. I'm now on my way. Uh, get now from me a positive statement. Time to move on. And yeah, today you get a rating and opinion from the Opus 8 cards. So let's take a look. Opus 8, so we get 148 cards overall. You know, you had also the pre-release, and you had also the release. The cards are out, you know it. We get 6 reprints. That means one summon from each element. We get Hackathon, Care, Odin. Um, so from each element, Brunhilde, and so much on. We get also 10 commons for each element, 6 rares, 4 heroes, and 2 legends. We get also the same staffel with the light and dark cards with 1 legend, 1 hero card, and 12 new starter cards. Great, new starter decks. Each color element with 3 summons and 2 monsters, so that's also important and good to know. And we get for this episode, for this Opus chapter, 6 to 7 backups for each color. So we get also overall 40 backups for each element, for all elements together, and we get 10 to 13 forwards for each element, and it's 76 overall, plus the light and darkness card, of course. And we get 13 cards with a special effect and 32 cards with an EX burst. So that's also good to know. So today you get from me a rating, and it's a yeah, nice to have, nice to know, to look into this video. Maybe it's good for some tournaments, and it's first only a subjective opinion about the cards, so my own opinion, what I think about this cards. Is this card good in limited, and can this card be good for standard? So you know, from some tournaments now, also the cups includes draft performance and limited performance. So I split these into a silver star and a gold star. The silver star is for the limited. So if you play draft or maybe yeah, sealed, you get from me a limited rating and maybe a standard rating. Is this probably good for the meta? And of course, the rating is not final. It depends, of course, of the meta. What happens now with Opus 8? And yeah, it's just only my opinion. It gives you maybe some tips or something else. So let's take a look at the first 4 cards. We start every time with Fire, and Fire gets the Archangel, 6k, double damage, and if he attacks, he gains plus 3k power at the end of turn. I think this is probably now a very good card if you want to do some more pressure. I thought um, there can be something here with maybe some aggros with unblockables or something else. So I think Archangel is definitely a card we will see in the meta. How much copies? I think it's between 1 or 2. Also limited, it's a very good card to do a lot of pressure to your opponent, and I think Archangel HM is here a very good card. Red Mage is also a very good card. Haste Brave, perfect for 2 CP. Just easy, so pick it for your deck if you want to play fire or just try it out. I think this card is amazingly good. You can play it 3 times for your deck, and also for limited, it's also a good card. Ifrit is deals 4k damage and one more for each fire backups you control. You don't play much fire backups. If I see some, mostly tournaments or ask my friends who played fire, and I think this is probably not good enough. Also in limited you play with 2, 3 colors and it's hard to play with more fire backups, so I don't think this is very good for limited. And for constructed, I think Ifrit is not strong enough. Iroha is here a very good target with 7k for 3 CP, and all fire characters deals 1000 more, and also includes Iroha with dealing 2k damage. So pretty good card. It's also Final Fantasy 11 and a samurai. There are also some other samurai cards, but there are not a lot of them, so maybe interesting for later episodes. But overall, I think Iroha is also a very good card. So keep an eye on it. Next one is Edgar. Finally a backup for Final Fantasy VI, so you can try out to play Fire Ice, but I'm not sure if it's very strong enough. The other cards from Final Fantasy VI in the Opus 8 uh, are okay, but they're not overtuned, so I guess in limited it's not good, maybe under average. And in standard, I think this is an okay card. You can try it, but I'm not sure if Final Fantasy VI with Fire Ice is strong enough. And I hope for maybe Opus 9, Opus 10, there are coming some more Final Fantasy 6 backups, and we probably need this. We need this first. We need more fire backups or maybe ice backups with Final Fantasy VI, or also earth backups with Final Fantasy VI. That would be a great decision maybe for later decks, for later building decks with Final Fantasy VI. Next card is Cloud, and you deal 3k damage plus 1k more for each point of damage you have received, and you can play Cloud if he dies back dull, if you remove the top 10 cards from your game. Also an EX Burst. I think this is a strong card with 9k, 5 CP. You can search it, it's also a soldier. I think for limited it's a very strong card, but you have also to restrict that you play in limited with 40 cards. Of course you can play with more than 40 cards, but you also should know that you remove the top 10 cards. So don't get your deck empty, and stay tuned. Next one is Black Mage, and Black Mage I guess is a very okay card. You can pay 2 CP and put Black Mage into the break zone, choose one fire summon and put it to your hand. It's mostly the Phoenix with 7 CP, very good target. There are also some effectively removal that can help you, maybe our legendary card and so on. There are enough cards for the pool. We will also see the Black Mage if there are some enemies with fire decks, but mostly maybe 1 copy or 2 copies of Black Mage, not more. Same with the Golem. I think Golem is a pretty good pressure card when it's only on the field for 1 CP, and you can put it into the break zone and give 1 attacking forward plus 4k power. I think that is a very good, it's not a combat trick, but it's just open field and it's buffed and your opponent knows it, and sometimes it's hard to deal with this card. The next card is Samurai with 7k. I think this is probably more a limited card than everything else, and it's okay for limited. It's an okay card for limited. For constructed, there are some better free drops. There are also Amaranth. I think Amaranth is not very strong. 7 CP, 7k. EX burst. Okay, the EX burst seems very good because you can decide between 7k damage and destroy some monster. I think this is a very good sideboard card for limited, uh, because you can destroy one monster of cost 3 or less, and there's also the Toad, and there are not much monster removal if you play limited or maybe draft. I think Amaranth can hear a very good oppressive forward here. Sid FFL, you can deal 5k damage, or if you control 5 or more backups, you can deal 8k damage. I think that's also good, but I think the most player will play Lulu. I'm not sure about this card. This card can be played maybe a maximum of 1. Uh, there are also not much. Uh, I'm not sure if this is very strong enough for free CP. Also for limited, it's just maybe 2 stars or probably 3 stars to burn out some opponent weak minions here. Xenos is here, and I think the Xenos is just okay. Very good for limited, with full CP, 8k, good body, and yeah, the effect is also if your opponent controls any Warrior of Lights, Xenos gets Haste, Brave, and 2k powers, and he sees a 10k body, and he's probably the strongest guy at the board. And when you deal damage to your opponent, you can deal 5k damage. You can combine it with some other cards. I think in limited, Xenos can be here a very good card. For standard, I'm not sure because it's only at okay. Look to your to your opponent, and is there a Warrior of Light? No. Okay, you didn't get the effect. Um, you can try it out if there are any Warrior of Light forwards. The next one is Warrior with 2 CP with 5k. It's a good filler for limited, but I think for standard it's pretty irrelevant. Duncan is a Final Fantasy VI card. You can discard Duncan for paying the special ability costs. That can be a very very good card. Also, if you can get back your Final Fantasy VI cards back, there's also the, you know it, the Setsa backup, where you can back Duncan back or another Sabin card, and you can do the Duncan special ability again and again and again. I think this can be very good here. Also with Edward, you can and the fire bus with Libro or some other guys. Luneth, also the new fire card with plus 2k power, so on. You can build maybe Duncan to a 10k power, 11k power, and deal just by discarding a card and Duncan. I think that's okay. The second effect with choose one forward of cost 4 or less, deals 4k damage. That's not strong, but I rated to just 3 points. For limited, it's an okay body. Um, and yeah, for standard, we must see. Bahamut is, in my opinion, a very good card. Because you can also mixed. It's not only fire backups, so very good also for multicolor. You can deal 10k damage, so you nearly destroy everything, and you remove it instead, so no special effect trigger or something else, and that can help you out. So I rated with 5 and 4, so I guess this is a strong card. Just a very good removal for 4. Can also the Katuna, where you get Bahamut from your deck and you can play it instantly. That's also very good. Vivi. I think Vivi is one of the best cards in fire because you deal so much damage. You can deal 2k damage or maybe 7k damage instead, or if you control 7 or more Final Fantasy characters, you deal 10k damage instead. Okay, for limited, there are not much or not enough Final Fantasy 9 cards, so I would rated it to just 1 star. Pretty useless in limited, but in standard, this can be a very good card because there are so much fire and water cards with Final Fantasy 9. You can search with Steiner for Final Fantasy 9 cards. There are also some standard units where you can search for it with the water search cards, EX bursts, where you can generate more and more Final Fantasy 9 characters. I think Vivi is here very good, and you have also the Phoenix. There's also the 4 CP Phoenix where you can choose a forward with cost 2 or less, maybe. I guess it was 2 or less, or maybe 1, and you can just revive Vivi back. There are also enough water cards, also the water monster, Sahagin, I guess his name is, and you can bounce BB back and you deal again 10k damage and again 10k damage, so you can nearly destroy everything. I think this is a very good fire water card. Vivi is one of the best cards here for new Final Fantasy 9 decks. I think you will see some like Zidane Light, with Vivi, some enough water cards and so on. Brunhilde, okay, it's an okay card. Limited, 3 points. Standard, yeah, okay, 3 points. There are some players that play also with Brunhilde in their mono fire decks, so I think it's also a very good card. It's an okay card. March is a very good card with 4 CP EX burst, top 5 cards at 1/5 fire character. There are enough cards here in the pool. You get a very good drawback here. Choose the right card for your right situation. I think this is also a very good card. We will see March in some decks here. Of course, mono fire, but maybe 2 copies. Yeah, probably 2 copies. Also, the job clan leader or from FFTA, they're not enough trigger for that, but the expert is just very good. Sabin. Okay. It's an okay card for limited. I guess in standard it's pretty useless. Yotsuyu, it's the better red mage from Opus 1. So we definitely see Yotsuyu in some decks. I think this card is great. So I rate it with 4 points. Next cards are Rain. You know, there's also the Light Rain with so much special effects, and you can discard just your Rain to deal to lose your opponent some more power, and you can play your Rain and deal more damage. I think this Rain is just a medium card, and it's probably a high chance to see this card in some decks. Lava Spider, I think this can be a very good card for some aggro decks. 3k power, just for attacking forwards, not until end of turn, but I think that can be very good for some weenie decks. I thought also about some type 0 aggro with something like lightning, fire with type 0 and goes all in every time. I think Lava Spider can be here a very good card. There's also I forget his name. The card where you can get a monster back to the field from Final Fantasy XIV. Uh, Also, the Lava Spider can be a very good splash card here for Lightning. Gotsetsu, Hien, some cool starter deck cards. Interesting maybe for limited. But you must hit also the two other starter cards. Overall, they're okay for limited. Hien is a good card for limited. Gotsetsu or less, but uh, I don't so much care about these two cards. So let's take it. Liz is a very good card to buff all your forwards with plus 1k power or maybe 2k power if you get 5 points of damage. Also the Dragon Kick, very good card. Deal 8k damage. Wow, okay. I would play these Liz in Mono Fire. It's a very good card. And you only have to discard another list for just do the dragon kick. I think this can be the other choice of Lunef, or if you pick both, you can push also your forwards with maybe 2k power, also 3k power, or maybe with Libro to 4k power. It's all that stacking. That's very much. Now we take ahead to Ice. Archangel GK, I think this card is not good for standard. Of course, the EX burst seems okay with the freeze, but it's only it triggers at the opponent first forward. Your opponent just stopped the attack and baits you. So also, if we imagine if Archangel GK would only cost 5 CP, Archangel GK wouldn't be good enough. There are also too much other very good in the 5 CP guys in the slot. You have Kuja, you have Sid Austin. There's so much good ice cards that would replace the Archangel if the Archangel would pay only 5. I think this card is not good, but it's good maybe for limited. So I rate it with 3 silver stars for just limited or maybe the draft. Also with Umaro, that can be a very good pressure card with 3 CP 9k, but you must pay every time, so it costs a bit more and more. But if you pay just all your hand out and you don't get any cards in your hand, you can attack every time. You just discard nothing and attack every turn with 9k. I think Umaro can be also here a very good card. So a medium card. Imperio is, in my opinion, not the limited card. It's maybe good for standard. You can search for light card and you can search for dark cards. If he enters the field, you pay more, and if he dies, you can search for the dark forward. I think there is a lot of value that you get 2 cards back or just paying 4 CP for the Imperio, so that can be a very good benefit. And there are also enough good light forwards and dark forwards for your benefit in ice. You can play your Zidane, you can play your Terra, you can play your Nidhogg and so on. So I think Imperio, we will definitely see him in Opus 8. Garland, yeah, I'm not sure. Everybody thinks about Garland because he's Final Fantasy 9. Of course, he's Final Fantasy 9. But there's my first benefit before I read the card was, oh cool, I can play my Zidane for just 2 CP. That's a nice benefit. But Garland has only 6k power, so he's a fast enemy target to Fusoya or something, some low summons, effects, special abilities. But I think in limited he's pretty strong because dulling a character, or your opponent must choose, um, and you freeze in the turn after it. Um, I think it's more important for limited. There are not so much monsters in limited. Um, it can be very useless if your opponent just dull monster which has yeah, he dulls just this monster and nothing happens. That's that would be the worst benefit. But freezing an opponent character for just 1 CP. Oh no. Oh, of course, you must pay 1 ICP. That can be very good. And also, if your opponent don't play with monster, you dull a character is dull, and you can freeze the other characters. I think the freeze is here the best part of it. But I'm not sure if it's strong enough. Sure, the benefit with Sedan, but I think it gives more benefits in limited than in standard. The Scholar, you put it in the break zone, reveal the top card of your deck, so you give information to your opponent, and if it's an ice card, you add it to your hand. So I'm not sure if this is very good. It's maybe cool with the starter card, the Jewel, where you can look at your top card of your deck and you can instantly draw it with Scholar, but in most cases, yeah, you just lose your Scholar and just replace it with another card. I'm not sure if this is a very good card, but I don't rate this card so much, so high. Also the mask. I think the mask is pretty okay. There are some FFL characters, not characters but forwards. Also some rare forwards or common forwards. There are also the heroes, you can search for it. I think, yeah, search cards are also good if you get any else FFL cards. So I rated it 3 points with limited, 4 points for standard. There are also some good FFL ice cards, forwards. We know where to pick. We mostly want to pick Imperio, so I think we will also definitely see the mask. The Bard, put it into the breaks and choose one forward, freeze it. I'm not that this is a very good, this is a brilliant artwork, but this card is probably not strong enough. Maybe cool for limited. I would maybe not give 1 star for limited, maybe 2 stars, or yeah, probably 2 stars, but it's not good for standard. The Black Mage, oh yeah, you have to discard so much cards and pay, and you put Black Mage into the break zone, and you choose 1 dull forward and deal it 9k damage. Okay, you can kill something, but you have to pay so much cost, and it's also hard with double ICP and free elves. I think this is the worst card I've ever seen. That's sad. Another useless ice slot. Cocytus is the next one. 2 CP EX burst. When she enters the field, choose 1 forward, dull it. That's okay for 2 CP. It's probably worth about 0.7 to 0.8 for a dull in the mean. And the best effect is the EX burst also. When she enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards. If you control 4 or more ice characters, freeze them. So that's a Jill Nabat. You freeze 2 of them. I think this card is pretty good for standard. I rate it with 4 stars. We will definitely see this. Also, if you play with Cocytus, you can use your Jirnabat from Opus 2 to protect your minions, to protect your forward. I think this is also very, very good. So you can play now both of them. And yeah, EX Burst. I think this can be also a bit better than Jirnabat, because you also dull and you also freeze, so you get a dull freeze, which is worth about 1.7 CP and also a bonus freeze. That's very good for 2 CP. Only what you need only control 4 more ice characters, and the building with ice characters should be as fast as possible. Shiva is also, I think this is a pretty good card. Both Shivas, I think, are very good. Only one of them is good for a limited, because you need, for the EX burst, for each backup you control plus 1k more. So I guess this Shiva is maybe good for some standard decks. I get, there's also the, I guess it was Opus 4 Shiva with the 6k damage and plus 1k more for every Shiva in your break zone, where you can play just yet now for 6 Shivas, 9 Shivas, 12 Shivas, and you're dealing more and more damage. And there are also the standard units, where you can get your summons back. I guess it was from Opus 6. There was the the summoner, where you can get back your summons, and you're dealing so much damage with Shiva. I think that can be a cool combo here. Also the 4 CP Shiva. This is just a kill breaker. Dull and freeze for 3 forwards or monsters. I think that can be very, very good. This is a strong card. Next one is Scaletoad. The thing is, Scaletoad is at first very slow for 3 CP, but it's a time ticking bomb for each opponent ending phase. However, it depends how long is Scaletoad on the field. There's also the Amaranth, where you can destroy a 3 CP monster, but if your opponent don't play with that, or some other monster removals, there are not so much monster removals in the limited format. Scaletoad can be here a very good card, and it's just a ticking time bomb. I also think in standard, Scaletoad can be here a very good card. I thought about some other cards with the darkness cards. Galdas, if Galdas dies, you can put one monster back from your break zone to your hand. You also have the Darkness Kefka, you can search for the Scaletoad, it's also very good. And there's also the Goblin form, I guess it was Opus 7, where you can search for a monster from your deck and just put it into your hand. I think it depends how fast you get the Scaletoad in your hand. And I will definitely trying out some cool combinations and some cool combos to get the Scaletoad as fast as possible in my hand and just discard the enemy. Next card is Squall. I think Squall can be here a very good card, just for the discard effect of just a dull forward. I think this can be a very good oppressive card. I would maybe rate it to maybe 4 golden stars, I'm not sure, but also for In limited, it's a very good card. Yes, that's how you know it's. You can get something back. Your in standard, you can get your lock back. You can get your Salas back. You can get your Duncan back. You can get your so much interesting forwards. Also Umaro, if you want to get Umaro back, the 6 CP Umaro to get a monster from your deck to your hand, and you can play a Skatoad again. There are so many combinations. Also for Final Fantasy VI, um, Setsa is here a very good card. Also because of the EX burst. The EX burst gives us a, a good mindset. Also if we get damage, and there are not so much ice EX bursts, so Setzer can be here very good. Celis, I'm not sure about this card. Can be medium in the limited format because of so much dull freeze effects. But it's very hard to get 3 more category 6 characters, so you can definitely freeze, but if you can dull, that's a good question. So I rated in the medium part about 2 or maybe 3 stars. There's also Sophia, where you can dull out the forwards with haste, first strike, or brave. I think this is not good enough. It can be a very good effect if some effects happens with some opponent forwards gets haste or maybe first strike or something else. But I'm not sure if Sophia is really strong enough. If Sophia maybe costs 1 ICP, it would be maybe too good. But it's then maybe okay because you have to put it into the break zone again. So, yeah, it's below average. Time Mage can be a bad card or can be maybe a good card. I'm not sure. I rated it with 1 star, but you can so much dull freeze effects to everything. Also to your own opponent, to your own forwards. I'm not sure if this a very good card or a very bad card, so I'm not sure. I wouldn't pick this time match, but also the free CP with 7k. That is a stabilized body, but there are also some more better 7k cards. Mateus, okay, this is a very good card for limited. Absolute good if EX burst. It's medium just for standard. Would we see this card again? I'm not sure. I think this is an okay card, but not an OP card. Palom, I think this is for standard a very good body. It's just like the Thaumaturge, 5k, 2 CP, but every player must discard 1 card. But you have also a toolbox. You can choose 1 forward, you can freeze something, or you can also dull all the backups opponent controls. The third effect is also very interesting because you can bait your opponent to play maybe some summons or something else, and you have a counter for that. You can counterspell that with Edward or something else. So Palam can be here very, very good, and we will definitely see this card in play. Dark Fina, okay, 7 CP, 9k, bit overcost for limited, but maybe we can give 2 silver stars also, but I think for standard this can be very good. You can search for summons and cast 1 summon of cost 7 or less from your hand without paying the cost. There are so much ideas I think the most players think about Fire Ice with the Phoenix, dealing damage, get your forward back, whatever you need. Um, Probably lock or something else. Also, you can search for Odin, some removal cards. There are so much ideas, and I think Dark Phoenix here, a very interesting card. Um, do we see her? Well, there is potential maybe. I also think about the Opus 4 Terra. When the Light Terra, if she comes into play, you can search for a summon of cost 4 less, and with the special you can search for a summon. You can trigger it later and with Fina and so else. I think there are some interesting combos here. Last one, I guess other channels or YouTube channels are talked also about this card. This card is very good for Fire Ice decks. I also thought about um, what if we play Laswell in a mono ice deck with just maybe Chaos or something else and just generate Fire CP, or maybe also with Splash Earth with Shantotto, we can generate, there's also the Ice Earth decks actually with some control types. I think this card is very good. This is a very good buddy with 8k. The Lancer unit, you can choose one forward, double freeze it. Okay, and you can put it in the break zone, discard one card from his or her hand. This can be a good card. I see only Final Fantasy 13. Yeah. Not sure if this card replaces anything, but I think Lancer Unit is also an okay card. It's above average, so we will definitely maybe see one copy or maybe two copies of it. Now we get Wind with the Archangel MR, which can't be blocked by buddies with 7k or more. Only has 3k and cannot chosen by opponent summons or abilities. Yeah, this can be maybe good for limited, but can be also a very fast target, and it's hard to discard in most cases one wind card to generate 2 CP. To get the, yeah, like in Magic, the hexproof effect. I don't think Archangel MR is good enough. The next cards are, yeah, you know it, Wind. And we start with Alexander. Choose one character of cost 4 or more and break it. Oh gosh. This card is insane. You just crush big targets with for just 4 CP. I think this card is amazing. You can destroy all the big bodies. There's also the thing with you know it from Opus 4 and Opus 1 with Hope, where you can later all the activate backups, or where you can choose Alexander from your deck and put it into your hand with an EX burst. I think Alexander is an amazingly good card. I think this is pretty much overkill. So, wow. Yeah, Wartrill, I think this card is also very, very good. You can place up 2 cards from your hand at the bottom into your deck in order, then draw the same number of cards. You can choose just your right cards faster than possible. And also the second effect, I think Water is also a very good card. We will definitely see this card. Warrior of Light. Um, I was wondering why so many people don't talk about this card. I think Warrior of Light is a very, very good card for 4CP with 8k, and you choose up to 2 backups and activate them. I thought also about some wind-ice combinations with DGS troopers, activate backups again, put your 3CP DGS trooper, activate 2 backups again, put your 4CP first class DGS troopers, and you can swarm your whole field. I think this is very strong. And if Warrior of Light attacks all the standard unit forwards you control gain also 2k power. Wow! This is amazing. I think this card is very, very strong. And many guys underestimate them. I think also for for limited this can be a very good card because of so much standard units. Um, Most guys don't pick it, or the other standard units. The next card is Aerith. I think Aerith is a very good card. Of course, it's the free CP slot with 7k. Final Fantasy 7. It has, or she has a menu effect. She also has big shoes. If Aerith deals damage by a summon or an ability, reduces damage by 2k instead. That's also so much effect. And when she puts from the field into the breaks, activate all the backups you control. It's also very good for multi-color, so you can choose if you want to play Aerith in a mono wind deck or maybe in a 2-color deck, 3-color deck. Also very good for splash. Onion Knight, I think this card is also an okay card. There's also the Opus for Onion Knight, and you can activate with Onion Knight backups, also with the EX burst for CP 8k body. I think this is also a just good card. Medium or maybe average medium. Garuda's interesting card for Mono Wind because of wind characters. Thing is, you try to put your wind backups as fast as possible. And yeah, dealing 2k damage plus 5k damage, and if you play with some monsters too, or some very interesting forwards, and we would definitely see some later death case or something else, Garuda will deal 8k damage or maybe more than 8k. I think Garuda can be a very good removal here, so not sure if we can see it, but depends on the deck. So Thief, not much to say here. Charlotta, I think this is a very good splash card to generate 1 CP of any element. Just a good splash card. Also for multi-color. Sit High Wind. The choose 1 backup of cost 3 or more opponent and return it to its owner's hand. The thing is, your opponent can play the effect of the backup again. I'm not sure if Sit High Wind is here a benefit for you. It's more a benefit for your opponent. I don't think that Sit High Wind is a good card. Selkie can be a good card. I think we will see some mono wind mill decks. It's maybe possible. And stats are also okay. Death Gaze, yeah, there are not much cards to remove monsters. So I think in limited, this is you can remove just mostly the strongest card on your opponent's field. And yeah, I think also for standard, Death Gaze can be here a very good card. Not much to say here. Also the Ninja is just like the Archer in Opus 1. It's a medium card. You see the Archer from Opus 1, so you can play the Ninja too if you want. Sure, why not? Noshtaden also very good backup where you can get one category FFCC backup. You get it into your hands. Also very good. There are so much FFCC cards now. You can also get your, I guess it was Epitaph. Epitaph was maybe FFCC. There's also the other backups or the other backups from Opus 8 where you can build your backups now faster and faster and faster. So I think this is also a very good card. The Basilisk. I think this is a card for limited. A very good card for limited because you can deal 4k damage and after that you can instantly destroy it just for 5 CP, so it's just a removal. So sure, why not? And it's a common, so if you see it and the other cards are maybe crap, you can pick the Basilisk. Yeah, Fina with 9k, 6 CP, you can play 3 CP more, so for 9 you can deal 5k damage. Activate all the characters you control, you can deal so much damage. Is this strong enough? Yeah. This can be a very good card. There are also so much other cards where you can deal damage to your opponent forwards. You can try to stack it with maybe Maria, Arthanaut. Oh. So there's something possible here. And we will also definitely see Fina. What's with the other Fina, the 3 CP? I think the 3 CP Fina is a very good card, and it's also a common card. So for limited, 7k for 3 CP, common, okay. You can activate one win character, you can choose one character and activate it when Fina gets into the break zone, so wow. So you can play Fina aggressively and defensively just for your big bodies and activate it after that. So I think Fina's also very good forward. We will definitely see in play. Fina's just, yeah, Fina's a good card, yeah. Veritot, where you can put wind monsters back. I'm not sure if this is strong enough for 4 CP, but I know that there's also the Zoo, where you can activate all your backups you control. So you get a 5k forward for free. This can be maybe we see some plays, but I'm not sure for which card you should replace Veriator or Verod. I'm not sure. Matoya. This is a very good card. She's a rare and you can break one monster. Yeah, monster removal, finally. Also for limited, yeah. I should do four silver stars, then 3. Yuffie is a very good card, maybe for some lower tier decks with Final Fantasy. So we will maybe see her, but it's an okay card. Archer is, in my opinion, a very good card for limited. 7k for 3 CP, that seems okay. And you can put it into the break zone and just deal 10k damage. 10k is a lot of damage. And wow. just for 2 CP and put it into break zone. Um, and before you can play Archer as an as a forward and deal maybe one or two damage peaks, and if your opponent tries to block, you can activate Archer with some effects. Maybe you can use the effect from Archer and deal 10k to the opponent's strongest body. There's so many combinations, but if we can see Archer, limited yes, standard not sure. Chaos Walk of the Wheel, good removal. And the other three, Godo, Yuffie, and Red 13. The thing is, in limited, these three cards are only starter cards, and they are building to each other. So you can only get them as a foil card, and ugh, you want mostly play 2 or maybe 3 of this trio. So it's very hard to get all these free cards, but I think the best card of these 3 cards is probably Yuffie, just because of 4 CP 8k body and also Red 13 with 3 CP 7k body. But I would rate Red 13 more than Yuffie, because there's also the Yuffie coming from last side. This one. Oh no, she's hero. Okay. Yeah, she's the hero card. So I would prefer Red 13 more than Yuffie. So let's get back to the ground, and we get Earth cards. There's first the Archangel TT, not strong enough, not good. I don't like this card, so not good enough. Arden, I'm not sure if this is. I think this is a more unlimited card, because it cannot be broken, and it's very hard maybe to handle with Ardine. There's also maybe the ninja where you can back Ardine back. I think in limited this can be a huge threat, because there are not so much answers here. In standard, is this strong in standard? I'm not sure. Sure, it has brave and cannot be broken, but you can play around Arden. You mostly need an instant removal, or losing power or something else. Next card is Apururu. I think this is a very good backup. It's also Final Fantasy 11, so you can pick it with the Star Sybil. And if you play with actually maybe 3 backups, Apururu costs only 3. So Apururu gets with every backup cheaper and cheaper. And when she or he, I'm not sure if Apururu is a she or he, enters the field, you choose one character and your break zone added to your hand. Also you get something back. I think we definitely see Apururu, maybe 1 time, or maybe 2 time. Or maybe 1 time. Dark Knight, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if this is good. Dark Knight is not very good. I think this is only a limited card, maybe. Just pushing some forwards from, yeah, just to deal some good trades. Undead Princess, I don't think this is a good card. But I can be maybe wrong here. Because you can put 2 Earth backups into the break zone, play it again, you can play your search earth backups again, and so on. I'm not sure by this card, but I think in most cases the princess is weak, and you probably don't see this card in play. Ignis, yeah, you can search for Noctis, and this is a big benefit. You can search for the Legend Noctis, um, and all category 15 forwards other than Ignis gets Brave and 1000 power. Also, the special attack is also very good. I think this has potential, but there are not so much Final Fantasy 15 cards. So maybe we can see Ignis, or maybe we can't see Ignis, but by the thing that you can search for Noctis, and we all know which Noctis we will get here. I think for later episodes or later Opus chapters, this card can be a very good card. So keep an eye on Ignis. Mechanist is just a removal for 5 CP, just break one dull forward. It's just okay, but in standard you don't see this. There are also the Opus 1 Mustachio. Yeah. Gladiolus is a very good Final Fantasy 15 card. If you control Noctis, Gladiolus only cost 2 Earth CP. The thing is, you can only pay with Earth CP to play Gladiolus onto the field. So it's good for standard, a very good standard card. But for limited it's mostly useless if you don't get Noctis or something else. I think this is a risky card for limited. So you definitely play Gladiolus in standard. And I think we can maybe see this card. Because Noctis from the Legend Noctis is just strong. Yeah, Graham, 5 CP, 9k, where you can destroy if you received 4 points of damage or more. He's a great buddy for 5 CP. And he can also destroy something. I think this is good in limited, but for standard there are a lot of more better 5 CP guys. Glaive. So yeah, in limited you can only search for Diana, so it's not in Opus 8. And also FFL forwards other than Glaive gets 2k power. Just look into the pool of all FFL cards, how many heroes, how many rare cards, how many common cards. I think in limited it's not good. In standard, I think you can I can rate it maybe to 3 stars, but I'm not sure about Glaive if Glaive is strong enough. The Titan is not a good card, I guess. I don't like this card. Nacked or Nacked is a good card. Other Warrior of Darkness cards get plus 1k power and Brave. Yeah, that's okay. But the other two effects, the special effect with dealing 8k damage is cool. That's a very good effect. You don't need Dull the Nact, and it's also FFL forward, and you can destroy a monster just with this forward. Okay. But the thing is, there's the restriction. You can only this ability during your turn, only once per turn. So, if there is at your opponent, is there a high threat, you can remove it with Nact. This can be very, very good. I think this is a interesting card, and we definitely see this against monster and monster decks. um, there's a high chance to see opponent's monster on the field. Noctis. When he enters the field, you reveal the top two cards of your deck and add one category 15 card, and it's only card, it's not forward or backup or something, and you return it to your hand. And there's also the Warp Strike where you can choose one monster, break it. I think this is an okay card with the actual Final Fantasy 15 pool. But for later decks, I think if Opus 9, Opus 10, Opus 11, and so on, there are coming so much more Final Fantasy 15 cards, and I think Noctis is then at its highest threat because you can just draw a card for just nothing for an EX burst or playing a 5k guy, and you can choose also to do the Warp Strike and just break monsters all the way. I think for later, this is a very good card. So keep an eye on Noctis. I think this is a very good card. Not now with Opus 8, but I think in the future. Just thinking for the future. This can be a very good threat. Luminous Puma. Yeah, where you can get forwards back and maybe backups back, but it costs 5 CP and it's so much high cost. I think this is not good enough. Fenrir also, okay, of course you can break or maybe also remove light or dark forward, but it's very squishy. I think that would be only a sideboard card, so yeah. Prompto's a 6 CP EX burst, where you can remove something if you get if your opponent has 4 or more forwards, and you can break 1 forward if he enters the field. So if you are far behind, you can destroy 2 forwards. If not, you can just break 1 forward for 6 CP. Okay, break it for just 6 is not good enough, but I think the double effect seems okay. It's good if you are far behind. So Prompto can be a very huge threat, so... Hackathon, yeah, very good card, very good removal. The library, I think this card is not good. It's not good. If it costs maybe 4, maybe 3 CP, the library would be a lot better, but 5 CP for this card is just too high. Marlene, I think this card is only good for standard and not for limited, because you get a so big toolbox to search. You can search for Cloud or maybe Tifa, you can search for Barret, you can search for Aerith, so you can search for one of 4 different cards, and there are also the cards from Earth, the cards from Fire, from Wind, everything from Light. So I think Marlene can be here very big toolbox, and also Marlene is expert, so yeah. In standard, this can be a very good card. But it depends also if Final Fantasy VII decks are strong enough. We will see. The Mugen Knight, where you can reduce so much damage, is this good enough? It's a very good. It's an interesting card. Also, you can It's a standard unit and it's a Moogle Knight. I'm not sure if you can search for the name Moogle Knight, but the one thing that you can reduce the damage by 3000 instead, and also for forming parties, I think that's very good. So, but if it's very strong enough for 3 CP and 5k, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Next card is Monk. Uh, yeah, just only your own turn and plus 3k power. I don't think this card is strong. No. Layer is a very good cancel effect for opponent summons of 4 or less. The thing is, there are not much summons in the limited format, so it's maybe good versus Alexander, so you can cancel Alexander or maybe the Bahamut. But in standard format, there are a lot of summons and you can just cancel so much cards. I think Lael is a very good card, so keep an eye on Lael. We definitely see this card in play. Yeah, Cloud and Tifa. It depends also if Tifa on the field for Cloud or Cloud on the field for Tifa. I think Tifa is much more worth in the limited format and also in the standard format because of the reduced CP by 2. Also the Brave with Tifa. For the Cloud card, you need 4 category 7 forwards, not characters, and I think that's not easy. I think it's the Tifa gets more benefit also with the special effect. You can deal 10k damage. Wow, that's a lot. You can remove mostly everything. So there's also the Barret where you can choose the Final Fantasy VII characters. Can you search for backups, whatever you need. Also 5 CP, 9k for Barret. Yeah, sure. I just try it out. I would probably maybe do no, I would probably do 2 silver because it's pretty hard to get a Final Fantasy VII character in a limited format. So now we get Lightning and yeah, Archangel with protection for 5 CP and you can deal damage. I think this is an average card. It's okay for also for 4 CPs with 8k. Medium card. Not good, not bad. So medium ratio. Ali Sale. 1k power more for Arthanaut and it gains haste until end of turn. I think this is also 3 stars for limited. In standard, I'm not sure of the new Arthanaut. If you're strong enough with the dual effects, is it also if this fast enough. I thought also about the Golbez deck because the new Arthanaut only costs 2 CP and you can dull all the opponent big creature guys you control and get through the damage points. I think something like that, but I'm not sure if we will see this card in the game. Alba, yeah. That's okay. Depends on the job Warrior of Darkness, so you can definitely dull one forward because of Alba is Warrior of Darkness. But the critical thing is there are not much Warrior of Darkness actually with Opus 8. It would be a medium ratio. Alpha Node, yeah. Just like I said, I think this has potential in the limited format. I thought also in the limited format with Lava Spider with Alice, where if you attack with Arthanaut, you dull everything with 9k power or less. Wow, that's amazing. um, I think that can be a big crush in limited. Um, Also, Arthanaut is just a common card, so it's very easy. So if we see to Alice is also a common card, so wow. The thing is Arthanaut strong enough for constructed or standard? Can be not. I'm not sure. Also, like I said, the Gorbis deck, I thought also about Lightning Earth with Kefka, so Aethernaut gets plus 5k power and everything with 10k power or less. Um, there's so much combos, so would probably rate it maybe to 3 golden stars. The jellyfish, not much to say here. It's not good. The Odin, yeah, just removal. I think this is also very good removal for limited. Just a good card. Black Mage, just replace. Can be maybe seen, but I think this card is, in most cases, not strong enough. Sakura. Yeah, you can deal 8k damage, and if your opponent has no answer to that card, Sakura can be here very big threat with the just 5 CP and break every turn forward. So just remove Sakura as soon as possible. Sakura has only 4k power, so in most cases it would be easy to remove her. But yeah, in limited it's not strong enough because you have to do 5 active lightning backups. So it deals only 8k damage for 5 CP. It's not strong enough. There's Jake. Jake can be very good for the tiny weenies. With just 4k power until end of turn. And you can give something haste until end of turn. I thought also about a Golbus deck, where you play with Golbus and Jake, and if your Golbus dies, all your all your forwards comes into the field, you give them haste, they get plus 4k power. You roll like a big stone. This can be a very good card here. I also thought about something like a Type Z, the Type 0 Fire Lightning with Jake or something else. I think that has a lot of potential. Also with the 4k power, the Lava Spider plus 3k power. There's also the Final Fantasy 14 monster from Opus 5 or maybe Opus 6, where blocking forwards, losing power and something else. So big maths here, and I think Jake will be a very good card. I think Jane is maybe also an insane card. Shango reminds me a bit of Opus 1 Ramza, but just only for 3 CP and without a special effect. I think Shango can be here very good for Mono Lightning. 3 CP with maybe 9k, 10k, 11k with Lulu. That can be a high threat. Summoner, Gaining haste on first strike. Ooh, I think this is not strong enough. Genai, wow, I like this card. Back attack, first strike, and you deal 4k damage if he enters the field. Oh, so you can destroy an 8k guy without that Genai is dying. I thought also with some interesting lightning water decks where you can put your Genai back to your hand. Also Genai is FFL. So yeah, sure, why not? Also he's a ninja. I'm also a bit surprised about so much ninja cards now. So definitely keep an eye on Genai. Diana, okay, yeah, medium card. Totally fine. Not OP, not not a bad card, not a good card. So medium card. Death Machine. I'm not sure about this card. This can be maybe a big troll card. I thought maybe about some interesting combos. Example with maybe Borgin. When Borgin goes to the break zone, your opponent discard one card or something else. I also thought about um, Golbus deck with Death Machine, so all your weenies go through it because you have mostly after the first dying Golbus more board presence. I think Death Machine can be a interesting card that can be a threat to your opponent or maybe a threat to you if you are falling behind and you're losing more and more forwards. But I think in some deck combinations, the Death Machine is here the way to go. Also the Raiden. You can only pay with CP produced by backups to cast Raiden. Choose one forward, break it. So you can also use this combo with Lissi, Kartuna, so you can play Type 0 with Fire Lightning, with Raiden, also something else, more removals. There's some potential to see Raiden in some interesting aggro decks. Also in the limited. For CP, choose one forward, break it. Okay. Sure, why not? Ramu. Most Lightning decks uses many backups. Or full backup line with 5 backups or maybe 4 backups. I think this is a very good card for standard. There's also Lid, where you discard 3 cards and deal 8k damage. Ugh. I'm not sure if this card is strong enough for 4 CP. Can be maybe a helping card in the limited format if you don't get the right cards and just throw your crap cards away to deal 8k damage. I think this is a fine benefit if you draft mostly bad cards and you can just discard them to deal damage. I think that can be okay. Yeah, the Dragoon. Just 4 CP and 3 CP for 8k, 7k. For limited. Below average. And I think also for standard. I think the 3 CP Dragoon should be getting 3 golden stars if you want to try a Dragoon deck. And there are now enough Dragoons. But we need some, I think some buffing cards for every, so maybe Dragoon cards plus 1k power, something else maybe for the future expansions. Just buffing Dragoon decks. Yeah. Now we get the Final Fantasy VII comp with Root, Reno, and Rufus. I think Root is mostly the worst card of the three. You can only buffing one card, and that is Rufus. Yeah, so 6k Rufus, that's not enough, and the special is mostly not reachable. So I don't think Root is a very good card here. I think Reno and Rufus, this is a very good comp. Uh, the Turk Light from Reno is just an okay. You just pay 3 CP to do something, choose one forward, okay, that's okay. But the best thing is if Rufus is on your field and you use the effect of Reno, deal 3k damage, and if Reno dies and goes to the breaks, then you deal another 5k damage, so you deal 8k damage. That's a lot, that's a good removal. If you play with Rufus and Reno, sure, and if Rufus also dies, you can deal another 5k damage. Also, you can search with Rufus for some Turks. In 90% of the case, you search for Reno. I think Rufus and Reno are very good cards. Don't underestimate these two cards. But Root, I don't think this is a good card. Root is not strong enough. No. Now we get Thancred. You can gain first strike for another 14 forward. That can be maybe good. There's also the forward Tancred from, I guess it was Opus 6 or Opus 7. I think Thancred is okay for standard. Maybe one copy. And splashing the forward with it. But limited, I guess, this is not strong enough. For Dola, I think this card is a cool card for limited. Because you can remove just some crappy backup you don't need anymore, or maybe you get of some color 2-match backups, you can remove it from a game, and for dollar is a 9k haste first strike brave. This can be very, very good. I should rate this for maybe 4 silver stars. That would be more benefit. Yugiri, in standard, not good enough. There's also the ninja from Opus 2, which has a better effect than that. The first effect, not good enough. Alexander, I like this card for standard. Good toolbox. Just return something to its owner's hand from an opponent. Add for just 1 CP. This is fine. Aiko, which looks very weird with the big hands and some cringy face. I'm not sure what happens with Aiko, but you can search for one summon and add it to your hand. And you can draw a card when Aiko dies. I'm not sure if it's strong enough, because Aiko costs 5, but you can search for one summon, and you can search for whatever you want. Huh. I'm not sure about Aiko, so you definitely need to test Aiko if she's strong enough. Garnet, 5k, 2 CP, X burst, I can activate one forward, but, and I have to set, the golden rating is wrong. I would probably rate Garnet more to 3 stars or probably 4 stars, because if you forward your controls deal damage by a summon, so that's also for dealing damage to all forwards and not just to one special target, reduce the damage by 5k instead. So I think this is a very good effect also versus massive damage dealing by summons. So there's also the lightning removal, the lightning dealing damage, and it depends also on Garnet. So it can be very good here. So I would probably rate it to 4 golden stars for Garnet. Quina, I like this card. You remove top 5 cards from the game. Quina gets 2k power and cannot be chosen by abilities. So protection with 10k, go through it. Sure, why not? That can be a very good card for limited. Standard? I'm not sure if this card is very strong. There's also the starter Quina with the special effect. You can fit it in, but I don't think that we will see Quina in standard. Zidane. I think this is an insane card. This can be played in a FF9 deck, water wind deck, water fire deck. You can play this card in Golbez. Wow, and this special ability to lose 2000 power to a forward for each card in your hand. This can be insane. So Zidane can be here a very aggressive type with fire, and just give it haste with the just like the red mage. Just draw 2 cards, draw 2 cards every turn. You can also play with well, what was it? Water wind. There are also maybe some unblockables to make Zidane unblockable. I thought also about that. Then Golbez, because Zidane is just 2 CP. Can be interesting, so we did definitely see Zidane. Also in maybe some in just mono water. Also something possible is FF9. You can discard your light Zidane for just a special ability, so great card. Next one, Shamanopil. Gooosh, in my opinion, not strong enough, and it depends also only on 1k damage. So White Mage, okay card. I think Steiner is yeah, I think Steiner is an okay card because you can choose it on forwards whatever you want, because just choose one forward with 1k power and reducing power, with maybe when it gets deals damage. So I think maybe it's also 3 golden stars, but nah, I'm not sure about the Steiner, if the Steiner is very strong enough. The thing is, he's a knight, he's FF9, you can search for him. Not sure if this is strong enough. Strago is just a medium card for your realm if you want to play Mono Wonder or Monster again. Not sure if it's got another comeback. There's a possibility to see Strago. But yeah, let's see. Astrologicon can be good in a mono water deck. For a 3 CP 9k guy, or girl, if you use it maybe 2 times, absolutely fine. But yeah, do you want to pay every turn 1 water CP? I'm not sure. Paladin. This can be a very good protection card. Some mixed decks or maybe in some water decks. So I rated only to 3 stars. Because I also don't play water decks, but Frict seems pretty good. Also with Grams, it's just it's not the bad Merip, but you just draw one card. Just with an EX burst, you have not to discard and you not mill yourself. I think Grams can be also a very good side card next to Merip. Nicole. I think Nicole is a very good card for standard, because losing 1000 power for each water backup you control to just 2 forwards. I think this is an insane card for 4 CP. You can combine it with Cagnazo, and you can combine this combo just for 7 CP. In Mono Water you have enough cards in your hand for that. Also the second effect, all water forwards you control gain 1k power. There are also maybe some tricks with the monster and so else. This can be a very good card. Nico definitely pick. Yeah. Ninja. Put Ninja into the break zone. Choose one forward opponent control. Activate it and gain control until end of turn. Not sure how good this card can be. I thought about some Feral Chaos decks where you can gain control of opponent forwards and attack with the big guy with the big darkness card with 9k first strike, brave, haste, and indestructible, and just sacrifice opponent forwards. So, that can be maybe a very good fun deck. um, I think there's some potential. I think too much about the Chaos card, but I think there are also some other combinations and combos here for the Ninja. And I think we will definitely see the Ninja. Fairy, yeah, just a medium card, okay. Freya, yeah, maybe okay. If you see enough Dragoons and if you get in your booster from draft or something sealed, and if you get Freya, you can concentrate more on the Dragoons. Okay. And it's not that bad. It's a pretty medium card. The Way Zombie. When it enters the field, you replace only this card because you draw one card. And you can put it into the break zone. You can look at the top cards of your deck and return these to top and or bottom of the deck in any order. I think this card is very good in the opponent's battle phase. If your opponent attacks you, you can just sacrifice your whale zombie to look at the cards, and if you have luck with the EX burst, you can place just the EX burst on top on your deck and just trigger the EX burst. So I think the whale zombie can here very good for some interesting EX bursts, just to look, where's my Kuchu lane, or where's my Leviathan, or maybe where's my Odin, or my Zero Moss, or something else. I think for some X burst or some X burst mixed combos, or maybe mono water, the whale zombie can be here very. Yeah, it's just a risk card. If you get nothing of that, it's just useless. But in the other cases, if you get an X burst and want to trigger the opponent the EX burst, the whale zombie can be here a very good card. Next card is the Multi-Gamony monster, and the power of forwards cannot be increased by summons or abilities. Well, I think that can be a big threat. But I'm not sure if you want to block yourself with the effect, but it's also for your own opponents, for your own forwards. Um, I'm not sure about this card. Can be good for some uh, medium, where it's about mostly the power creep, about 8k, 9k. Thought about a water earth maybe? Water earth cards, which gets for 4 CP or maybe for 3 CP, 5 CP, 9k just on the build without increasing abilities. Lion. So if you don't control any forwards, she costs only 3, and when she attacks, you draw one card, discard one card. I think this is okay for limited. 8k for 4 CP is just okay. And if you don't control any forwards, it's just 3 CP, and that's very good for limited. And you can draw more cards and just discard your crap cards away. That can be a very good card for limited. Leviathan, just for each water character losing 1k power. Medium card, not sure if it's OP, but can be very good for a mono water monster. Maybe with 4 golden stars. Next one is Realm, where you can bounce a monster back. Not sure if it is strong enough. So yeah, not sure. I just rated with 1 star. Luna Freya, I think this card is amazing. Wow. The first effect, if you control category 15, cost for playing you on a Freya is reduced by 1. I don't care about that, but the second effect, when a forward other than light and dark you control from the field into the break zone, you may put it into the break zone, the Luna Freya. And if you do so, play the forward placed in the break zone onto the field dull. Wow, so you can revive one of your forwards, and I thought about so much insane combos. I thought something like big removals if something comes into the play, something like water wind, water ice, also the Golbez. I thought about lightning water Golbez with Luna Freya, so I think that can be also very insane with Luna Freya. Oh, I get my Golbez back. Oh, okay, no problem. Just for 0 CP. I think I also try a Golbez deck with lightning water. So yeah, definitely a tryout worth it. Um, I think there are so much cards where you can get something back. Idea, so much removals, where you can deal damage to big high threats. Also very good if you play uh, or when a mass removal happens. But the only restriction is it must happen on your opponent's turn. So yeah. So you need to deal with maybe your Gobas or something else, or if you play with Famfrit or something, yeah. Where something is destroyed, I think Luna Frey can be a very good card, and it is a very good card. So now the last 4 cards. Medine with deal 9k damage to everything. I think this is mostly a complete board wipe for just 8 CP. It's just... I think this is a very good card for limited. And also, this is an okay card because of the Garnet. Because Garnet, all your forwards gets 5k less. And Medine is here probably worth it. And you can play it maybe for 6 if you get 5 points of damage or more. And Medine is Final Fantasy IX. So, I don't know. I think this card is very good. Rain. We know Rain from Fire. And it's like the magic Elish Norn. All your forwards gain 2k power and opponents losing 2k power. But it's not depend on the field. But when Rain attacks, the effect activates. Also the special effects. All the forwards gain haste until the end of turn. Or maybe the Undermine effect is also very good. I thought also about Rain for maybe a Gorbis deck. That can be also be interesting. Just pushing all your 2 CP forwards and get through it and just swarm it with everything, and all the forwards you control gain haste if you get another Rain. I think this card can be a very, very good card. Arc, mass removal for 10. 10 is a lot. But it's losing power and not deal damage. Also like Medine, you can only cast it during your turn. But the positive effect is you can draw 1 card for each forward whose power became 0 or less due to the previous effect. So there's maybe a risk. I thought, in which deck can this maybe fit in? I thought something like the water decks, where you draw so much cards that it's easy to play a 10 CP summon. And drawing so much cards like the Vikings, dying minions or something else. I thought also about, what was it? Mono Wind, where you activate just so much backups. Back and yeah. You draw also the cards back. And with Mono Wind, you can also, dealing before that, you can deal some damage with, I think it was Maria or something. Just deal damage to everything. There are so much cards in Wind with deal to the opponent's forwards just 2k damage, 1k damage, and so else. I think that's then after that a really fine target for Arc. Just remove everything and draw cards. Can be an okay card in this two especially types of deck. I think it's only worth it for water and maybe for wind. Also, I have to say to Medine, deal 9k damage to all the forwards. I thought about I think it was the Opus 6 Shantotto with 9k power, or maybe 10k power if you have Anna Cross, and you can deal 9k damage all to forwards. Also to Shantotto again, and Shantotto triggers also again 9k damage, so you're dealing 18k damage to all the field and you burn everything out. That can be also very good for Medine. A Medine mono earth deck with Shantotto. Can be a very good deck. Veritas. Opponent selects one forward he or she controls when he enters the field and put it into the break zone. Not break it. Depends on the board. Very squishy for 6 CP and 8k guy. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. And when he puts into the break zone, your opponent chooses one character he controls and you put it into the break zone. I don't like the second effect, because this can be a benefit for your opponent. So your opponent can maybe say, hey, I have this search backup and I put it into the break zone, and next turn I have another cool card in my hand and I just search for another card, or play the same card. I don't think Veritas is strong enough. Illimited, it's a good card. You remove just 2 good cards in most cases. In standard, just a bit less worth. Because he can select one character, whatever he needs, whatever he wants. Or maybe there are so much cards when they getting into the break zone, they get another effect. Just like the water starter card last time, where you can draw another card. Wow! But if you know what I mean, Veritas can be a benefit for your opponent than for you. So I don't like the Veritas. So I rate it only with 3 golden stars. So that's it with the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Have fun with Opus 8, the new edition, and yeah, what's the next videos? Maybe building some decks or something. So see you next time. Goodbye.